I wake up to the sound of static. It's not the wind, not the hum of the generator, just that low, crackling hiss from the emergency radio on the wall. The others are still asleep. I don't move at first, just lie there, staring at the ceiling, listening. It's been weeks since the last real update. Everything now is just automated warnings, looping messages from a government that may not even exist anymore. But this one's different. The voice is garbled, distorted, like it's being dragged through water. The words come in pieces, but I hear enough to know something's wrong. Avoid mirrors after 3 a.m. Report any visual disturbances. Do not engage with. The message cuts off. A sharp pop of static, then silence. I sit up, rubbing my face. It's cold in here. The generator's struggling again. Every few hours, the lights flicker and the air gets thinner. There are 5 of us left. We don't talk much anymore. Just eat, sleep, listen to the radio, wait for news that never comes. The others are curled up in their bunks, breathing slow and steady. Jackson, the only one who still keeps track of time, has his watch strapped around his wrist, even in sleep. 2:47 a.m. I turn my head toward the corner of the room, where an old, cracked mirror leans against the wall. We covered it days ago. No one likes looking at it, not since Henry disappeared. I can still hear his voice, distant, fragmented. "It didn't move," he said that night. I looked away, looked back, and it... No one let him finish. I glanced toward the mirror's covered surface, the cloth draped over it like a body. The warning from the radio rings in my head. I swallow hard. Something about it makes me feel sick. The generator sputters. The lights flicker once, twice, then hold steady. Across the room, Jackson stirs, rubbing his eyes. "What time is it?" "Almost 3. He frowns, checking his watch. "You hear that broadcast?" I nod. He doesn't say anything else. Just sighs, sits up, and stretches his arms. He looks thinner than before. We all do. The rations are running low. The last time we checked the radiation levels outside, the Geiger counter wouldn't stop clicking. We're stuck here. I get up and cross the room to the radio. The signal is still dead. Just static, nothing more. Jackson swings his legs over the side of the bed, rubbing his face. "Same old bullshit, huh?" "Not exactly." He looks at me. "The broadcast. It said not to look at mirrors. After 3 a.m. Jackson snorts, shaking his head. "Yeah. And what? The mirrors are gonna kill us now." I don't respond. Because the thing is, I don't know. 3 a.m. The generator flickers again, this time longer. The room dims, shadows stretching across the floor. I sit back down, gripping my arms to keep warm. The air feels heavier. A sound echoes from the hallway. A creak. A slow, deliberate shift of weight against the floor. I freeze. Jackson hears it too. His head snaps toward the door, eyes narrowing. The others are still asleep. "Probably just the pipes," he mutters, but he doesn't sound convinced. Another creak. Closer. I swallow, shifting to the edge of my bunk. The flashlight beside me feels useless, but I grab it anyway, flicking it on. The beam cuts across the room, over dust-covered walls, the rusted metal shelves. The door stands slightly ajar, leading into the dark hallway beyond. Jackson glances at me. Neither of us moves. Then something shifts. A faint rustling sound, barely audible over the static still whispering from the radio. The cloth over the mirror moves. My breath catches. It's subtle, like a breeze caught the edge, but there is no breeze. Not down here. Jackson stands up. "The hell was that?" I don't answer. I can't. The cloth twitches again, and then slowly it starts to slide down. I shoot forward, grabbing the edge before it can fall completely. My hands are shaking. I pull it back up, securing it tightly, knotting it in place. My pulse pounds in my ears. Jackson exhales sharply. "Jesus, man." I turn to him, trying to steady my breathing. "Something's wrong." He runs a hand through his hair. "Yeah. No shit." 3:12 a.m. The others are waking up. Sarah rubs her arms, glancing around. "Why is it so cold in here?" No one answers. Mason, the quietest of us, is watching the mirror. His face is pale. "What's going on?" "Another broadcast," I say. "Weird one." Jackson sits back down, arms crossed. "Told us not to look at mirrors after 3. Sarah frowns. "Why?" No one speaks. Mason shifts uncomfortably. "You think it's about Henry?" I don't respond. None of us like to talk about Henry. None of us want to say that the night he vanished, he was staring at the mirror. 3:27 a.m. The radio crackles. We all turn to it at once. A voice, garbled, cutting in and out like a bad transmission. Avoid mirrors after 3 a.m. Do not acknowledge visual anomalies. If you see something unfamiliar, static, then another sound, not from the radio, from the mirror. A faint tap. I don't move. No one does. The room is dead silent, the kind of silence that suffocates. Then, another tap. Mason stands suddenly, his chair scraping against the floor. He's breathing fast, backing away. No, I'm not. I didn't see anything. Sarah grabs his arm. Mason, what? I didn't see anything, he repeats. But his voice is shaking. His eyes dart to the mirror. For a split second, I almost follow his gaze. Almost. But I don't. Because something deep in my gut tells me not to. I squeeze my eyes shut, heartbeat hammering. I can feel it. A presence. A wrongness. The generator flickers. The static swells. Then, silence. When I open my eyes, Mason is gone. And the cloth over the mirror is on the floor. Mason is gone. We don't move for a long time. Sarah's hand is still outstretched, fingers curling where Mason's arm used to be. Jackson grips the edge of his cot, so hard his knuckles go white. The static from the radio crackles on, indifferent. The cloth lies crumpled on the floor. The mirror is bare. I don't look at it. Sarah swallows hard. Where did he go? No one answers. Because none of us know. A week ago, I thought I understood fear. The blast was sudden, but not unexpected. There were rumors, whispers. People stocking up on canned food, buying iodine tablets in bulk. I saw a woman in the store once, pushing a cart filled with nothing but bottled water. I remember laughing under my breath, shaking my head. Then the siren started. I was at work when it happened. The first alert came through the office intercom, a voice calm but firm. This is an emergency notification. Please remain indoors and await further instruction. No one moved. Phones buzzed. Screens lit up with the same message. The guy in the cubicle next to me, Trevor, I think, laughed nervously. What, is this real? The second alert wasn't a voice. Just an automated looping tone. Loud, insistent. I checked my phone. The words glared back at me in red. Nuclear incident detected. Seek shelter immediately. Panic set in. People started grabbing their things, rushing for the exits. Someone screamed. A window shattered. The world outside turned white. I don't remember how I got to the bunker. Only flashes, running, the sky burning, the taste of ash in my mouth. The smell of melted plastic, charred skin. A gas station sign toppled over, crushing a car beneath it. A woman holding a child, screaming as their skin peeled away. Jackson pulling me forward, shouting something I couldn't hear over the ringing in my ears. The bunker doors slamming shut. Then darkness. Sarah breaks the silence. What do we do? The question hangs in the air. There's no good answer. Jackson stands, rubbing a hand over his face. We don't panic. Sarah's breathing is shallow, uneven. Mason was just here. He was just, she shakes her head. This doesn't make sense. I force myself to look up, keeping my gaze low. The mirror is still there, untouched. I can see the edges of it, the warped glass catching the dim light from the failing generator. We have to cover it, I say. Jackson nods stiffly. Sarah hesitates. For a second, I think she might refuse. That she might reach for the mirror instead. That she might look. But then she bends down, grabs the cloth, and throws it back over the glass. We all exhale. The static hums from the radio. I turn to Jackson. You heard what the broadcast said. He nods. Yeah. Sarah's voice is quiet. What did Mason see? None of us answer. We don't want to know. The next morning, or what we assume is morning, Jackson takes inventory of the supplies. It doesn't look good. We were supposed to be down here for a few weeks, maybe a month. Enough time for the worst of the radiation to settle. But the last time we checked the Geiger counter, the levels outside were still deadly. We can't leave, and we're running out of food. Jackson clicks his tongue, tossing a can of soup onto the pile. Maybe 2 weeks, if we ration hard. Sarah is sitting on her cot, knees pulled to her chest. She hasn't spoken since last night. I crouch beside her. Sarah. She doesn't look up. I glance at Jackson. He gives me a small shake of his head. We're all thinking the same thing. Mason didn't just leave. He disappeared. No sound, no struggle. One moment he was there, the next gone. I rub a hand over my mouth. My head feels too full, buzzing with unanswered questions. The radio's last warning keeps playing in my head. Avoid mirrors after 3 a.m. Do not acknowledge visual anomalies. If you see something unfamiliar, it never finished. We decide to keep the lights on tonight. The generator is weak, but the dark feels worse. Jackson keeps the radio close, fingers drumming against his knee as he listens to the static. Sarah lies down, curled on her side, facing away from the mirror. I sit with my back against the wall, watching, waiting. The clock on Jackson's watch ticks over to 2:58 a.m. I hold my breath. The lights flicker. The static sharpens, turning into something else, something almost like a voice. Sarah shifts in her sleep. Jackson's jaw tightens. He glances at me. Neither of us move. 2:59 a.m. The generator hums low, straining. The air feels heavy. A soft creak echoes from the hallway. Jackson stiffens. Sarah's breathing quickens. She's awake. The sound comes again. Closer. A slow, deliberate step. I grip my flashlight. The beam shakes in my hands. The static from the radio cuts out completely. Silence. Then, 3 a.m. The lights die. A sharp breath, Sarah's or mine, I don't know. The darkness is thick, absolute. I can't see my own hands. Something shifts in the room. Not footsteps. Not breathing. Something else. Something wrong. The generator stutters back to life. The lights flicker on. Sarah is standing by the mirror. The cloth is on the floor, and she's staring at her reflection. I don't think. I just move. I grab her by the arm, yanking her back. Don't look. She doesn't resist. She stumbles, her breath hitching in her throat. Her eyes are wide, unfocused. Jackson rushes forward, grabbing the cloth, throwing it back over the mirror. The second it's covered, the room feels different. The pressure in my skull eases. The static comes back to life. Sarah's shaking. I thought I saw. I grip her shoulders. You didn't. You didn't see anything. Her eyes dart past me toward the mirror, toward what's beneath the cloth. I did, she whispers. Jackson exhales, pressing his hands to his face. Jesus Christ. I don't ask what she saw. I don't want to know. The radio crackles. A voice, distorted, breaking through the static. Avoid mirrors after 3 a.m. Report any visual disturbances. If you see something unfamiliar, the broadcast cuts out. And in the silence, I hear it. A soft tap from behind the mirror. The tap comes again. Soft. Precise. Like the sound of a fingertip against glass. None of us move. Sarah grips my arm so hard I feel her nails pressing through my sleeve. Jackson is frozen, eyes locked on the covered mirror. The cloth over it doesn't move, but the sound is still there. Still happening. Tap. Tap. Slow. Patient. I swallow, my throat dry. My mind scrambles for an explanation, something logical, something safe. A shift in air pressure. The generator causing vibrations. Some kind of tap. I exhale through my nose, forcing myself to stay still. My body wants to run, but there's nowhere to go. We're in a bunker, buried underground. The only way out is up, and up means radiation. Up means death. Sarah shakes her head, whispering under her breath. I don't catch the words. Jackson presses the heels of his hands against his temples, muttering a steady stream of curses. Then, the tapping stops. The silence is worse. I don't realize I'm holding my breath until my lungs start to burn. I let it out slowly, careful not to make a sound. Sarah whispers, "Did you hear that?" Jackson shoots her a sharp look. "Shut up." She clamps a hand over her mouth. I glance at the radio. The emergency broadcast hasn't returned. Just static, low and constant, like white noise before sleep. I force myself to move, stepping toward the mirror. Jackson grabs my arm. Don't. I don't blame him. Every instinct in me says the same thing. But we can't just leave it like this. Something was tapping. Something was there. I kneel down and slowly, carefully, press my ear to the glass. Nothing. No sound. No movement. Just silence. Then, a whisper. I jerk back so fast I almost lose my balance. My breath comes short and sharp, heartbeat hammering against my ribs. Sarah's voice wobbles. What? What did you hear? I don't answer. I can't. Because the voice wasn't just noise. It wasn't static. It was me. We try to sleep, but none of us really do. Jackson sits up against the wall, arms crossed, eyes narrowed at nothing. Sarah lies in her cot, curled tight, her back to the mirror. I sit on the floor watching the door, watching the hallway, listening. The last time someone disappeared, we did nothing. Henry was just gone. 1 second here, the next, nothing left. No body, no blood, just empty air. Mason too. And now the tapping, the whisper, the voice that sounded like mine. I touch my throat, half expecting to feel something wrong, something loose in my skin. I don't, but the feeling doesn't fade. The radio crackles. For a split second, I think the broadcast is coming back. I sit up, waiting, pulse spiking. But it's just static, just noise. Jackson sighs, running a hand through his hair. If we make it through the night, we need to do something about that mirror. Sarah doesn't respond. I glance at her. She hasn't moved in hours. Sarah? Silence. Then, a breath. A slow inhale, shaky. Then she speaks. Her voice is quiet. Flat. I don't think it's a mirror. Jackson tenses. What? She sits up, her movements stiff, mechanical. Her face is pale, eyes dull. Like she hasn't slept in days. I think it's a door. None of us respond at first. The word lingers in the air, heavier than it should be. Jackson shifts uncomfortably. That's not funny. Sarah doesn't blink. I'm not joking. I glance at the covered mirror, my stomach twisting. Why would you say that? She licks her lips. Because I saw something. The room feels smaller, colder. Jackson exhales sharply. No, you thought you saw something. That's different. Sarah shakes her head. No, it wasn't a trick. It wasn't in my head. Her fingers tighten in her lap. When the lights went out, before you grabbed me, I saw my reflection. She looks at me. I don't like the way she does it. Like she's making sure I'm real. Like she's comparing me to something else. Jackson leans forward, his expression tense. And? Sarah swallows. And it wasn't me. Silence. No one speaks. The radio crackles on, whispering static into the stillness. Finally, Jackson exhales, shaking his head. You were scared. The dark messes with people. It was just. I know what I saw. Her voice is sharper now. More urgent. She grips the blanket in her lap, knuckles white. It was looking at me. And when the lights came back on, it was still there. A shiver runs down my spine. What do you mean, still there? Sarah hesitates. Then quietly, I mean it didn't go away when I moved. The air feels tight. Jackson runs a hand over his face. You're saying your reflection, what? Got stuck? Sarah doesn't answer. She doesn't need to. Jackson scoffs, shaking his head. That's insane. You were panicked and... Sarah looks up at him, eyes dark. Why do you think Mason disappeared? That shuts him up. She grips her blanket tighter, pulling her knees to her chest. I don't think Henry left. I don't think Mason did either. I think, she trails off, voice catching in her throat. I don't want to ask, but I do. You think they're still in there? Sarah nods. Jackson exhales, standing abruptly. Okay, I can't. This is ridiculous. We're locked in a bunker, barely surviving, and now you want to act like we're in a goddamn ghost story. Sarah flinches, but Jackson doesn't stop. I don't care what you think you saw, but we need to be rational. We need to focus on survival, not... Tap. We freeze. The sound comes from the mirror. Tap. Tap. Slow. Rhythmic. Sarah's breathing picks up. Jackson's face drains of color. I feel it again. That presence. Like something watching. Listening. The tapping continues, steady. Unhurried. I don't realize I'm moving until I'm in front of the mirror. My hands tremble as I reach for the cloth. Jackson hisses, don't. I pull it down. The mirror is empty. Just glass. Just a reflection. I exhale. Then, the reflection blinks. But I don't. I don't move. I don't breathe. It smiles. I do not. The light flickers. The static on the radio rises, hissing, whispering. And in the reflection, something moves behind me. I don't turn around. The thing in the mirror, my reflection, still smiles. A wrong kind of smile. Too sharp. Too knowing. My lips, but not mine. My face, but not mine. Behind me, something shifts. A presence. Heavy, expectant. I feel it, the way you feel someone standing too close in an empty room. Jackson whispers, cover it. I can't move. Sarah grips my arm, fingers ice cold. Her voice is barely a breath. It's behind you. I know. I can feel it. The weight of eyes pressing against my back. The mirror's surface warps slightly, rippling, like water when disturbed. And the reflection of me, not me, doesn't move like I do. Jackson's voice is urgent now. Cover the goddamn mirror. I force my arm to move, but the second my fingers brush the cloth, the lights flicker. The reflection's smile widens. And something laughs behind me. Low. Breathless. Right at my ear. I whip around. Nothing. Empty air. The radio crackles, its static deepening, shifting into something close to a voice. Words half-formed, breaking apart before they can fully exist. Sarah is shaking. Jackson's jaw is clenched tight, hands balled into fists. I turn back to the mirror. My reflection is normal again. My own face, my own eyes watching back. The warped ripple is gone. No movement behind me. Sarah pulls the cloth from my hand and throws it over the mirror, her breath unsteady. We're not looking at that again. None of us argue, but I can still hear the laughter in my head. We spend the next few hours in silence. Jackson sits by the radio, waiting for another broadcast. Sarah stays on her cot, eyes trained on the floor, lips pressed in a tight line. I try to convince myself it didn't happen, that it was a trick of the light, that I imagined the smile, the warped glass, the laughter. But I didn't. I felt something. It was behind me. The emergency alert had warned us. Avoid mirrors after 3 a.m. Do not acknowledge visual anomalies. We've already broken both rules. The radio buzzes, and we all jolt at the sound. The static sharpens, sifting through broken frequencies. Then finally a voice. Emergency broadcast. This is a priority alert. The voice is wrong. It's not the same one we've been hearing. It's slow, careful. Off. Sarah stiffens. That's not the usual guy. Jackson leans in, turning the volume dial up. Shh. The voice continues. Remain indoors. Do not engage with reflective surfaces. A pause. If you have already looked, do not acknowledge what you saw. My stomach knots. Do not speak to it. The static surges, nearly drowning out the next words. It will learn. Then silence. The broadcast cuts out. Jackson curses under his breath, rubbing a hand over his face. Sarah stares at the radio like it might start talking again. I just sit there, heartbeat hammering. It will learn. We don't talk for a long time. The only sound is the distant hum of the generator and the quiet crackle of static from the radio. No more broadcasts. No more warnings. Sarah finally breaks the silence. We need to get rid of it. Jackson scoffs. And how do you suggest we do that? It's bolted to the goddamn wall. We break it. Jackson shakes his head. That's a bad idea. Sarah turns to me. You saw what happened. You felt it. I nod, but Jackson is right. Destroying it might make things worse. Sarah stands, pacing. It's watching us. We don't know that, Jackson says. She whirls on him. Yes, we do. Mason looked. Henry looked. Now they're gone. You saw what happened just now. We need to break it. I think of the reflection's smile. The laughter. I think of the broadcast. Do not engage. Jackson rubs his temples. We don't know what happens if we break it. What if that's what it wants? Sarah exhales sharply. So we just leave it. Wait for it to take one of us next. Jackson glares. We don't panic. We think this through. Sarah presses her hands to her head. Jesus Christ, Jackson, we don't have time to. Tap. The sound freezes all of us. Sarah's breath catches. Jackson's fingers twitch toward the knife at his belt. I stare at the mirror. The cloth is still in place, but the sound is unmistakable. Something is on the other side. Tap. Tap. Slower this time. Patient. Then, a voice. Muffled. Distant. But clear enough to understand. Let me out. Sarah lets out a choked gasp. Jackson's hand tightens around the knife. The voice comes again, softer. Please. I recognize it. Mason. I feel sick. Jackson's face is pale, his grip on the knife unsteady. Sarah presses a hand to her mouth. The tapping continues. The voice is barely a whisper. Please, it's cold. I shut my eyes. My pulse is pounding in my ears. It sounds like Mason, but it isn't. It can't be. Sarah's voice is hoarse. What if it's really him? Jackson shakes his head. It's not. Sarah steps toward the mirror. Jackson grabs her arm. It's not. She struggles against his grip. You don't know that. What if he's trapped? What if? The voice shifts. Still Mason's tone, but the words are wrong. Stilted. Off rhythm. Like something trying to mimic human speech. You left me. Sarah flinches. Jackson pulls her back, his expression tight. It's not him. The voice changes again. Now it's Henry. Don't leave me down here. Sarah whimpers. Jackson moves fast, grabbing the cloth, securing it tighter over the mirror. The second he does, the voice stops. The tapping ceases. Silence. The only sound is Sarah's quiet, ragged breathing. Jackson lets out a shaky breath. Nobody touches that mirror. Sarah swallows, her throat bobbing. She doesn't argue. None of us sleep. And for the first time since the bunker sealed, I wonder if we're already dead. Sarah doesn't talk for hours. She sits on the cot, arms wrapped around her knees, staring at the wall. Not the mirror. Not us. Just the cold concrete, like if she focuses hard enough, she can will herself somewhere else. Jackson hasn't moved from his spot near the radio. He keeps the volume low, waiting for another broadcast, another set of instructions. None come. The static hums constant. Empty. I sit by the door, gripping my knees, exhaustion pressing against my skull. My body wants sleep, but I can't let it. Not with that thing in the mirror. Not with what we heard. Sarah whispers, "What if it really was them?" Jackson doesn't look up. "It wasn't. You don't know that. I know enough." She shakes her head, squeezing her arms tighter around herself. Her voice is hoarse. It sounded like him. That's the point. Sarah flinches at his tone, but Jackson doesn't soften. He finally turns to face her, his jaw tight. "It wasn't Mason. It wasn't Henry. It's something else." Sarah stares down at the floor. She doesn't argue, but she doesn't look convinced either. I don't blame her, because I keep thinking the same thing. What if it was them? What if we did leave them behind? Hours pass. Maybe more. Time feels strange in here. The bunker has no windows, no way to track the hours except for the dull ache in my body. Sarah hasn't moved from the cot. Jackson is still by the radio. The static continues. I listen, trying to find anything in it, patterns, voices, something beneath the noise. But there's nothing. Just the endless, ceaseless hum. Then, a shift. So subtle I almost miss it. The static dips, then rises again like a breath. I sit up, my pulse spiking. "Did you hear that?" Jackson glances at me. "Hear what?" Sarah doesn't move. The static changes again. A distortion, warping slightly, bending. Like something underneath it. I crawl closer to the radio, my skin crawling with something I don't have a name for. Jackson watches me carefully. "What is it?" I don't answer. I just listen. The static deepens, turning hollow. A strange wetness in the sound, like something shifting just beyond reach. Then a voice. Not from the radio. From the mirror. "I can hear you." Sarah's breath catches. Jackson stiffens, reaching for his knife. I turn toward the mirror. The cloth is still in place, but I swear I see movement beneath it. A slight ripple, like something pressing against the other side. The voice comes again, soft. "Careful. You're still listening." My throat is dry. I try to swallow, but it sticks. Jackson is on his feet now. "Cover your ears." Sarah doesn't move. The voice hums, thoughtful. "You don't like when I talk, do you?" A cold wave rolls through me. It knows. Jackson steps forward, his hand hovering over the cloth. "Say one more word, and I'll smash the glass." Silence. Then, a chuckle. Low. Amused. "You won't." Jackson's grip tightens. The voice shifts, smoothing out, testing itself. "You can hear me now." A sick, creeping dread slithers into my stomach. Sarah's breathing picks up. The voice is different this time. More precise. More human. It's learning. I force myself to speak. "What do you want?" Jackson whips around. "Don't." The voice interrupts, almost pleased. "To talk." I swallow hard. "Why?" A pause. Then, "I'm lonely." Sarah makes a small, broken sound. Jackson's face darkens. "You're lying." The voice doesn't respond. The static on the radio shifts again. The pitch bending, changing, distorting. Then, a new voice. Familiar. "Mason. Please," it whispers. "Don't leave me down here." Sarah jolts, tears brimming in her eyes. "Mason?" Jackson yells. "It's not him." Sarah moves fast, reaching for the cloth. Jackson grabs her wrist, yanking her back before she can touch it. "Don't." She struggles, panic in her eyes. "But what if?" "It's not him, Sarah." She stops, chest rising and falling rapidly, fingers trembling. But she doesn't fight anymore. The radio crackles, the voice shifting again. "Now it's Henry. Help me." Sarah shakes her head, her whole body shaking. "Stop. Please stop." The voice warps, bending, changing, cycling through tones, testing, searching. Jackson turns to me, his face hard. "We're shutting it out." I nod, swallowing my fear. "How?" "We break the radio. We block out the sound." Sarah looks up, eyes wide. "What if we need another broadcast?" Jackson hesitates, and I can tell he's thinking the same thing. If we cut off the radio, we cut off everything. The warnings, the instructions. But maybe that's the point. Maybe it wants us to keep listening. Jackson's jaw clenches. "Fine. We keep the radio." But no more listening to the static. We don't acknowledge it. Sarah wipes her face, nodding. And the mirror? Jackson glances at it. The cloth is still in place. But we all feel it. The presence. The watching. I press my hands against my legs to stop them from shaking. We don't talk to it. Jackson steps away from the mirror, his face set. No matter what it says. No matter who it sounds like. Sarah exhales shakily. Okay. A moment of quiet. Then a whisper. So close it feels like it's right behind me. I can wait. The room feels colder. None of us move. None of us breathe. Then, the static hums, shifting back to normal. Sarah grips her arms. Jackson grips his knife. I stare at the covered mirror, every nerve in my body screaming to run. But there's nowhere to go. We are trapped. And it is patient. We stop speaking. It doesn't feel like a decision. It happens naturally. Words feel dangerous now. Unnecessary. Sarah hasn't said anything in hours. Jackson keeps his hand on his knife, his body stiff with exhaustion. I sit by the door, staring at the covered mirror, listening. The radio hums, but we keep it low. Not loud enough to hear the voices anymore. Not loud enough for it to know we're still listening. Jackson is the first to break the silence. We need to check the water. We haven't touched it since the last broadcast. Haven't trusted it, but we're running low. Sarah doesn't move. Jackson sighs, rubbing a hand over his face. He looks at me. Come on. I hesitate, but he's right. If we don't drink, we die. If the water is tainted, we die anyway. At least this way we know. I push myself up, legs stiff, body aching from sitting too long. Sarah stays curled on the cot, eyes distant. She hasn't slept. None of us have. Jackson gives her a glance, but doesn't push. We both know she won't move. Not yet. The water barrels are in the farthest corner of the bunker. Large metal drums sealed tight. Jackson crouches, tapping the lid of one. A dull, solid sound. He hesitates. Then slowly he unseals the top. The smell hits me first. Not foul, not rotten, but wrong. Metallic, sharp. Jackson leans in, eyes narrowing. I step closer, looking over his shoulder. The water is still. No ripples, no movement. But it's not clear. It's too dark, even in the dim bunker light. I squint. My own reflection stares back. Not distorted, not smiling, just staring. Jackson exhales. Looks fine. I don't answer. I know something is off, but I can't see it. Jackson dips a finger in, swirls the water gently. I watch. My reflection moves with him. A perfect mimic. My heartbeat slows. Maybe we're paranoid. Maybe it's fine. Maybe we. Then the reflection stops. But Jackson's hand keeps moving. I suck in a sharp breath. The reflection lags, then twitches, adjusting, as if realizing it made a mistake. I yank Jackson back. The water ripples. The reflection flickers, then smooths out, as if nothing happened. Jackson glares at me. What the hell? Look again. My voice is hoarse. He does. His jaw tightens. The reflection watches us, motionless, patient. Jackson slams the lid shut. Fuck, he mutters. I swallow hard. We can't drink it. No shit. A beat of silence. Then Jackson exhales sharply. All right. Rations only. No water. I nod, my hands shaking. We step away. The reflection doesn't follow. But I feel it watching. Back at the center of the bunker, Sarah hasn't moved. Her hands are pressed to her temples, her nails digging into her skin. She looks up when we return. Well, Jackson shakes his head. She exhales, pressing herself deeper into the cot. My throat is dry. It's getting worse. Jackson rubs at his face, thinking, if we're careful, we can last a few more days. Sarah doesn't respond. I keep my eyes on the mirror. The cloth is still in place. But something is different. The bunker feels smaller. The air heavier. The silence thicker. Like the space has shifted. Like something has moved without moving. Jackson notices my stare. What? I open my mouth, but I don't know what to say. Instead, I just whisper, it's waiting. Jackson doesn't argue. He doesn't tell me I'm imagining things. Because we all know I'm right. That night, I dream. I'm in the bunker alone. The radio hums. The mirror is uncovered. And I am standing in front of it. My reflection doesn't move. I reach out. My fingers press against cold glass. It blinks. I don't. Its lips part. And then, it speaks. I am you. The voice is hollow. Too flat. Too careful. It tilts its head. But I can be better. I try to pull away, but I can't move. My fingers stick to the glass like tar. The reflection leans in. Its mouth stretches wider. Wider. Teeth. Too many. And then I wake with a jolt. Sweat clings to my skin. My heart pounds. The bunker is silent. Jackson is asleep. Sarah too. For a second, I think I imagined everything. That the nightmare was just that, a nightmare. Then I hear it. A soft, quiet whisper. From the mirror. I see you. I freeze. I don't move. I don't breathe. A shadow shifts beneath the cloth. Something presses against the glass. Not forcefully. Not aggressive. Just enough for the fabric to bulge. Like a face pressing forward. Like it's trying to get through. My stomach twists. It knows I'm awake. It knows. I squeeze my eyes shut. I don't move. I don't acknowledge it. The whisper fades. The presence withdraws. Minutes pass. Hours. I don't know. Eventually, exhaustion wins. I slip into restless, shallow sleep. In the morning, Sarah is the first to speak. I heard it. I look at her. She's pale. Her lips are dry. Her eyes sunken. She doesn't need to explain. We all heard it. Jackson exhales. We need a plan. Sarah shakes her head. There's no plan. We can't just sit here and... It's getting stronger. Her voice is small. And we can't stop it. Jackson clenches his jaw. We can. I look at the mirror. I think about the voice. The whisper. The pressure against the glass. Sarah's right. It's getting stronger. And we are running out of time. Sarah doesn't eat. She hasn't spoken since this morning, not really. Just quiet nods, small gestures. She curls into herself, like she's trying to disappear. Jackson watches her, but doesn't push. None of us have the energy for arguments anymore. We sit in silence, picking at the rations. Dry, flavorless food. My throat aches for water, but I can't bring myself to risk it. Not after what I saw in the barrel. The thought sends a fresh wave of unease through me. I glance at the covered mirror. It's still. The cloth hasn't moved. But that doesn't mean it isn't watching. I don't remember falling asleep. One moment, I'm sitting with my back against the wall. The next, I wake to darkness. The radio hums softly. Jackson's quiet breathing. Sarah shifting in her sleep. For a second, I think everything is normal. That maybe for once nothing is wrong. Then I realize, the cloth is on the floor. My stomach drops. The mirror is uncovered. The glass is dark, murky. I can barely see my reflection in the dim bunker light. I force myself to breathe, to think. Did Sarah pull the cloth down? Jackson? Did it fall? I don't know. I don't care. I just need to cover it again. I push myself up slowly, every nerve in my body screaming at me to stop, to leave it alone. But I can't. I need to cover it. I take a step forward. The reflection doesn't move. I freeze. My body sways slightly from exhaustion, but the reflection remains perfectly still. My pulse pounds against my skull. I raise a hand. It does nothing. I'm shaking. I force myself to reach for the cloth. Just grab it. Just cover it. The reflection smiles. I stop breathing. The glass warps slightly, like it's shifting, like it's softening. And then the reflection speaks. Not out loud. Not in a whisper. Directly inside my head. You look thirsty. I stumble back, slamming into the cot. Sarah stirs. Jackson shifts, half awake. The reflection watches. It doesn't move. But the glass bends slightly, like something is pressing against it. I can't breathe. Can't think. I squeeze my eyes shut. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. The voice hums. Amused. You know that's not true. A cold shudder rolls through me. I open my eyes. The reflection isn't smiling anymore. It leans forward. The surface ripples like water. Let me out. A sharp, gasping breath. Sarah. She's awake now, staring at the mirror in horror. Jackson is already up, knife in hand. The reflection tilts its head. I force myself to move, scrambling for the cloth. I snatch it off the floor and throw it over the mirror. The second the glass is covered, the air shifts. The bunker feels normal again. No voices in my head. No warped reality. Just silence. Jackson swears under his breath. What the fuck was that? I don't answer. I can't. I just back away, my hands shaking. Sarah presses a hand over her mouth. She looks like she might cry. Jackson grips his knife tighter. It's changing. I nod, swallowing the lump in my throat. It's trying to get out. Silence. Then Sarah whispers, what if it already has? We don't sleep. We sit with our backs against the walls, avoiding the mirror, avoiding our reflections. I keep thinking about what it said. You look thirsty. My tongue is dry. My head feels heavy. My limbs ache. How much longer can we last like this? Jackson shifts beside me. We need to destroy it. Sarah flinches. No. Jackson's jaw tightens. It's getting stronger. We wait any longer, it's going to. What if breaking it makes it worse? Sarah snaps. Her voice is strained, desperate. What if it releases it? Jackson clenches his fists. And what if keeping it intact lets it out anyway? Silence. None of us have an answer. Because none of us know. I rub a hand over my face. There has to be something we're missing. Sarah exhales shakily. The alerts. Jackson looks at her. What? She swallows hard. The emergency alerts. Maybe there was something we didn't catch. My stomach twists. She's right. We stopped listening. Stopped trusting them. But what if we missed something important? Jackson hesitates. Then slowly, he reaches for the radio. Static hums. Low crackling. He turns the dial, scanning through empty frequencies. Nothing. Just silence. Then, a shift. A voice, faint beneath the static. Jackson turns the volume up. The voice is distorted, broken. But I can make out words. Containment failed. The three of us freeze. Do not engage, do not acknowledge. Sarah grips my arm. If communication occurs, you are already compromised. A sharp, high-pitched whine rips through the radio. Jackson slams it off. The bunker is dead silent. I can barely hear my own breathing. Sarah's voice is barely a whisper. What does that mean? Jackson doesn't answer. Because we already know. We spoke to it. We heard it. And that means we're already compromised. The mirror shifts. We all turn, our blood running cold. The cloth twitches. A soft ripple, like something is breathing beneath it. Then, the whisper. I'm still here. Sarah chokes out a sob. Jackson grips his knife, so hard his knuckles go white. I stare. Frozen. The cloth moves again. Slow. Deliberate. It's coming through. I suck in a sharp breath. Then I make a decision. I lunge forward and rip the mirror off the wall. Jackson yells. Sarah screams. The mirror crashes to the floor, the glass shattering into 1,000 jagged pieces. A deafening silence. My chest rises and falls rapidly. Sarah stares, hands over her mouth. Jackson is frozen in place. Then, the pieces begin to move. The shards ripple, shifting unnaturally. And in each fractured piece, a reflection stares back. Not mine, not Sarah's, not Jackson's, but something else. Something smiling. Something free. The whispers return. Louder now. More voices. More than just one. Sarah sobs. Jackson grips his knife. And I realize, we didn't destroy it. We let it out. Shards glint on the bunker floor. Each one catching the dim light, twisting it, warping it. And in each shard something watches. Not a reflection. Not an illusion. Them. The things inside the mirror. Dozens of them, maybe more. Some smile. Some tilt their heads like they're listening. Some don't move at all. But they all look like me. Sarah stumbles backward, nearly tripping over the cot. Her breath is ragged, panicked. Jackson doesn't speak. His grip on the knife is tight, but he doesn't move, doesn't strike. Because what good is a blade against this? I stare down at the shards. My hands tremble. My heartbeat pounds against my ribs. I try to look away, but I feel them watching. One of the reflections moves. Not a normal movement. Not a shift in the glass. It walks. Inside its tiny prison of fractured reality, it steps forward. My stomach twists. Another one follows. Then another. I take a slow step back. My foot crunches over a shard. All the reflections stop. Still. Frozen. Like they're waiting. A dozen versions of me. A dozen faces. And then, one speaks. Not out loud. Not a whisper. Inside my head. There are so many of us now. I flinch. The others start whispering, overlapping, too many voices, too many words. We've been waiting. You shouldn't have done that. It's time. Come closer. Sarah lets out a choked sob. She presses her hands over her ears. Jackson swears under his breath. Get away from it. I don't move. Because something is wrong. Not just the voices. Not just the things inside the shards. The room itself. It feels bigger. The walls stretch too far. The corners aren't where they should be. The bunker is wrong. The space we're in is changing. The reflections shift. Some of them turn away. Not towards the wall, Not towards each other. Towards something else. Something behind them. My skin goes cold. A sound. Deep. Faint. Like something exhaling. Sarah shakes her head, eyes shut tight. No. No, no, no. Jackson moves. Fast. He grabs my arm, yanking me back from the glass. We have to get out of here. I don't argue, but I don't know if we can. The bunker has no exits. No way out. And yet, the space feels different. Like there's something beyond it now. Something we weren't supposed to reach. I look down at the shards. The reflections are moving again. But not just them. The background behind them shifts. A hallway. A door. Something we don't have. Something that exists in the glass, but not in reality. Sarah sobs. It's opening. Jackson pulls me toward the radio, but I already know. It won't help. No emergency broadcast can stop this. The only thing left to do is run. We move fast. Away from the shards. Away from the shifting glass. But there's nowhere to go. The bunker is small, confined. No doors. No windows. No escape. But the reflections keep walking. And that hallway behind them. It's closer. Sarah's voice is barely a whisper. It's pulling us in. I look back. She's right. The walls don't stretch outward. We're the ones moving toward the mirror. Jackson swears. We need to. His voice echoes. Not like it should. Not like sound in a small room. It stretches. Distorts. Like we aren't in the bunker anymore. Like we're somewhere else. The air is thicker. Heavier. My breaths come too fast. And then, the lights flicker. Once. Twice. Then, they go out. Pitch black. Sarah screams. Jackson shouts my name. And all I can hear is the sound of breathing. Not mine. Not Sarah's. Not Jackson's. Something bigger. Something waiting. The reflections whisper. It's time. A sensation pulling. Like gravity shifting sideways. Like I'm being dragged toward the mirror. No. Through the mirror. I claw at the ground, fingers scraping uselessly against the bunker floor. Sarah is beside me, gasping, struggling. Jackson grabs my wrist, trying to hold on. Stay with me. I feel my body shifting, stretching, like I'm splitting in two. Like something is peeling me apart. A weight presses against my skull. A voice, no, many voices, whisper inside my head. Almost there. The blackness around me isn't just darkness. It's depth. Endless, infinite. A space beyond our own. Something that was never meant to be seen. I force my eyes shut. It doesn't help. The images are burned into my mind. The hallway. The door. The things waiting beyond it. They aren't reflections anymore. They're real. And they're pulling me through. Sarah lets out a sharp, choked gasp. I blink. The bunker snaps back into place. The walls solidify. The space shrinks back to its normal size. I'm on the floor, shaking. Jackson is gripping my arm like a vice. Sarah stares at the shattered glass, breathless. The reflections. They're gone. The shards are still there, scattered across the floor. But they don't show anything. Just broken pieces. Just glass. I swallow hard, trying to steady my breathing. Jackson doesn't let go of me. Sarah doesn't move. For a long moment, none of us say anything. Then, the radio crackles. A voice, barely a whisper. Containment compromised. Sarah whimpers. Jackson tightens his grip. I force myself to look down at the shards. Nothing stares back. Nothing moves. But I can't shake the feeling. We didn't win. We didn't stop anything. We just got pulled back for now. And the door in the glass. It's still there. Waiting. Watching. And next time, it won't let us go. The bunker is silent. The glass is shattered. But I can still feel it. The pull. The weight of something watching, waiting. Jackson hasn't let go of my arm. His grip is like iron, steady, grounding. Sarah sits against the wall, knees pulled to her chest, eyes locked on the broken shards. She hasn't blinked in a while. I swallow hard. My throat is dry. My head is pounding. None of us speak, because none of us know what to say. The emergency alert voice lingers in my head. Containment compromised. It wasn't a warning. It wasn't advice. It was a confirmation. We lost. Or maybe we never had a chance. I shift, trying to shake the numbness from my limbs. Every muscle aches. My hands tremble. Jackson finally loosens his grip, but his eyes stay locked on me. You okay? I nod, even though I'm not. None of us are. Sarah's breathing is shallow. Her fingers grip the fabric of her pants, like she's holding herself together. Jackson runs a hand through his hair. What the hell just happened? No one answers. Because the answer doesn't matter. What matters is that it's not over. We can all feel it. Something is still here. The radio crackles again. We flinch. Static hums. Low droning. Then, a voice. Doorway. Sarah lifts her head. Jackson stiffens. Do not acknowledge. My chest tightens. The voice isn't the same as before. It's wrong. Distorted. Off-key. Like it's trying to sound human. The static warps. The voice shifts. Come closer. A chill runs down my spine. Jackson reaches for the radio. His fingers hover over the dial. We see you. Sarah gasps. Turn it off. Jackson doesn't hesitate. He shuts the radio down. The bunker plunges into silence again. But the unease lingers. The whisper is still there. Not from the radio. Not from the mirror. From everywhere. Sarah starts shaking. We're not supposed to be here. Jackson looks at her. What do you mean? She wraps her arms around herself, rocking slightly. I don't know. I just feel it. I know what she means. The bunker feels wrong now. Like we aren't inside it anymore. Like we're somewhere else. I glance at the shards of glass. They're motionless. Normal. But I don't trust them. Sarah grips my arm suddenly. We have to go. My stomach twists. Where? There's no door, Jackson mutters. No exit. We can't go anywhere. Sarah's breathing quickens. Then we're already dead. Jackson swears under his breath. Don't say that. But she's not wrong. We've been fighting to survive, but what if survival isn't possible? What if we've been gone this whole time? I shake my head. We need to think. We need to. A sound stops me cold. A single sharp knock. We freeze. The bunker has no doors. No windows. No way in. No way out. But something just knocked. Jackson grips the knife tighter. His knuckles go white. Sarah's lips part, but no sound comes out. The knock comes again. Soft. Careful. Like someone politely asking to come in. I can't breathe. The air is thick. Heavy. Something waits beyond the bunker walls. And it knows we're here. The radio crackles back on, even though it was turned off. Open the door. There is no door. But I feel myself turning, looking at the wall. And for the first time I see it. A door that shouldn't be there. A door that wasn't there before. A door that's been waiting for us to notice it. Sarah whimpers. No. No, no, no. Jackson moves in front of us, knife raised. But what good is a weapon against this? The door isn't real. And yet, it is. A simple wooden door, plain, unmarked. No handle. No keyhole. Just a void of endless black beneath it. The knocking stops. Silence stretches. Then, the door creaks. It opens. Only an inch. Just enough to see the darkness beyond it. Just enough to know. Something is on the other side. Sarah grabs my wrist. Her nails dig into my skin. Jackson doesn't move. His breathing is slow. Controlled. I don't know if he's frozen in fear or if he's accepting it. The door shifts again. Opens wider. I see something move inside. Not a shadow. Not a shape. Something deeper. Like a hole in reality itself. The voices return. We see you. We've been waiting. Step through. A pulse rushes through my skull. A deep, thrumming pull. The bunker flickers. For a moment, we aren't here anymore. We're there. Standing inside the darkness. Standing in a space without walls. No time. No air. Just watching eyes. The world snaps back. I collapse to my knees, gasping. Sarah sobs. Jackson grips my shoulder, holding me steady. The door remains open. A sliver of black. Waiting. We don't move. Minutes pass. Maybe hours. Then, the door closes. Not fast. Not slow. Just final. The room sharpens. The bunker feels real again. But we know the truth. The door didn't disappear. It's still there. Waiting for us to look again. Waiting for us to acknowledge it. The whispers fade. The air settles. The radio goes silent. Sarah wipes her face. Did we win? Jackson doesn't answer. Neither do I. Because deep down, I already know. This isn't over. It never was. The bunker is quiet. Too quiet. Like sound itself is afraid to exist here. Sarah is curled against the wall, arms wrapped around herself. Jackson is still standing, knife gripped tight. I don't know how long we've been like this. Minutes? Hours? Time feels loose now. Like it's slipping away. Like we're slipping away. The door is gone. Not vanished. Just out of sight. Like it's waiting for us to acknowledge it again. To give it power. That's how this works, isn't it? The reflections. The whispers, the space stretching and folding around us. It feeds on attention. The more we look, the more we listen, the more real it becomes. Sarah shifts. I don't feel right. Her voice is small, weak. Jackson glances at her, but doesn't say anything. I know what she means. The air is different. The bunker feels off. Like we're still here, but also not. Like we never fully came back. I check the radio. Dead silence. Not even static. Like the signal has been swallowed. But that doesn't mean they're gone. They never leave. They just wait. Jackson finally speaks. We can't stay here. Sarah lets out a dry laugh. And go where? Silence. He doesn't have an answer. None of us do. Because there is nowhere to go. We've seen what's beyond the bunker. Or what pretends to be beyond it. Doors that shouldn't exist. Reflections that move on their own. Something is wearing reality like a mask. And we're trapped inside it. I don't know when I made the decision. Maybe it was always coming. Maybe it doesn't matter. But I speak before I can stop myself. We need to break the mirrors. Sarah's breath hitches. Jackson frowns. What? The glass. I swallow hard. The pieces. Every last one. We have to destroy them. Sarah looks down at the shards scattered across the floor. They don't move. They don't whisper. But we know they're watching. Jackson hesitates. What if that makes it worse? I shake my head. I don't think it can get worse. He exhales through his nose. Fair point. We gather the shards. Careful. Hesitant. They're sharper than they should be. Like they want to cut us. Like they want our blood. Sarah winces as she picks one up. A thin red line blooms across her fingertip. She sucks in a sharp breath. A drop of blood falls onto the shard. The glass shudders. Sarah gasps, dropping it. The shard lands face up. And in its surface, a single, open eye stares back at us. Not hers. Not mine. Not human. It blinks. Sarah lets out a strangled scream. Jackson doesn't hesitate. He lifts his foot and stomps down hard. The shard shatters. The eye disappears. A deep, rattling breath fills the bunker. Not ours. The walls exhale, like something living is wrapped around us. Like something is reacting. We don't stop. We smash every shard, crush them underfoot, grind them into dust. The bunker shakes. The air thickens. The walls seem to ripple. But we don't stop. We can't stop. We've come too far. We're too close. Sarah lets out a choked sob as she grinds the last piece into dust with her heel. Then, silence. The bunker stills. The air settles. The walls hold. Like something has been forced back. We wait. 1 minute. 2. Nothing happens. Sarah wipes her face. Jackson exhales. Did it work? I don't answer. Because I don't know. But I do know something feels different. Lighter. Like a weight has lifted. Like a hand has finally let go of my throat. Like we can breathe again. The radio crackles. Sarah jumps. Jackson stiffens. A voice comes through. But this time, it's different. Familiar. This is Emergency Broadcast Channel 2-19. Not a whisper. Not a distortion. A real voice. A human voice. If you are receiving this transmission, you are advised to remain in secure locations. Do not engage with reflective surfaces after 3 a.m. Sarah grips my arm. It's back to normal. The message continues, looping through the same warnings. No cryptic whispers. No impossible voices. Just a government broadcast. Like it's supposed to be. Jackson lets out a shaky laugh. We did it. Sarah presses her hands to her face. We did it. I want to believe them. I want to believe it's over. That we won. But something gnaws at me. A whisper at the edge of my mind. A memory of something almost seen. Because when the door opened, I didn't just see darkness. I saw something inside it. Something that wasn't supposed to be looking back. And I can't shake the feeling that even though we closed the door, even though we shattered the mirrors, it's still watching. Sarah and Jackson don't notice the small shard beneath the cot. Mist in the chaos. Overlooked. Harmless. I stare at it. At my reflection. It stares back. Not a delay. Not a trick. Just me. For now. I inhale. And I look away. Emergency alert. End of transmission.